All right, today we're gonna learn how to paint this dice. All right, so the question of the day is, what do black people call dice? The game dice. All right, let's run through the colors.
Alizarin red, pearly red, primary yellow, yellow ochre, red oxide, ultramarine blue, quin blue, phthalo green, titanium white, Mars black.
Let's get the party started. We lit in that initial kind of dark purple. We made it a lighter version with kind of a warmer red to make that kind of a contrast. I think the contrast is really good with the dark and light greens. I freehanded the dice. Probably wasn't the best idea. It's probably better to draw them in and then just fill them, you know, color by filling, because now they're all proportionally off. So we'll see if we can fix that as we progress. All right, we got our initial layers in: the dark purple, the mauve, the dark green, the light green here on top. We're gonna fill this in, hopefully sharpen up the die circles. I'm gonna just use straight white. I was kind of two-toning it, but I think it's just too much trouble to try to get that in there clear. It'll still look okay with white on white, but normally you would kind of tone those whites down, except for the white that's on the direct harsh light. But anyway, next time. So in popular culture, African-American culture, they use, they call dice, they refer to sometimes as bones. And also additionally, they may call dominoes bones. So either version of that is correct depending on what area of, you know, the South you're originally from. So, and the reason for that origin of bones is because literally they would use the bones from the slaughter to make these games for the slaves. Also, you know, dating back before slavery, you know, back to 2000 Egypt and in India, they traditionally use bones as a material in dice and also dominoes. And so that's kind of the origin of why the name bones is used by African Americans when they're playing dice or dominoes. And that's the question of the day. All right, we just finished the paint. Let's take a closer look. So we have this really light purple and dark green on top. It's a little bit kind of, it is kind of a tricky color because it has that blue in there, so it doesn't really mix that well. Maybe I could have given it another coat to kind of make that stand out. It has two shades of green on the bottom to make that stand out. Overall, I think I like it pretty well. It was a little more challenging because I had 6 versus, you know, I was smarter in the other version. I just had a 1 there, which makes it easier to paint, right? And a 2 on the top, which makes it easier. The 4 is easy because it's kind of like you get all that proportionality. The 5 is a real challenge to get that 1 in the middle centered. This one is slightly off center. Originally, I was going to kind of two-tone those white dice to have a really brilliant white on the top and then more of a subtle shade on the bottom. It has a little bit of that, but it's not. I did kind of do a pure white to kind of make those dice pop. Theoretically, when you do a painting, you really don't want to have a pure white unless you really only maybe a 5% on pure white. So I just said, forget that rule. I'm just going to paint it all pure white. It does have a little bit of coloring to it, so it really isn't white. So that worked out pretty well in the end. It has a really good proportionality. The lines are correct in the background. I didn't include a shade, so it's kind of an interesting look. So there's no shade on the bottom, which, you know, I could have kind of changed it up and had a shade. Sometimes I do that with food, sometimes I don't. I didn't take it the highlight. I didn't think it really needed it. But yeah, I think overall it's a pretty cool painting if you guys like casino dice. Hopefully you guys like it. Give me a thumbs up. If you'd like to subscribe, you can subscribe below. And if you want to see the full version, check my Patreon account, and I'll see you in the next painting video. Thanks, guys.